Today I fucked up by not realizing I was autistic. So this happened a few weeks ago actually, but I had come from a regular primary care DRS appointment. Because of technology and whatnot, my doctor's office has an app that shows diagnoses and medications, etc. I noticed under the diagnoses section that I had autism. I thought, oh, someone at the doctor's office made a mistake, because while I had been tested for autism I was not diagnosed with it.
So I brought this up to my mom, who basically said WTF, yes you are.
She then related to me the whole saga of me getting diagnosed.
My memory of it is that I got tested and the doctor said something along the lines of, well, we can't call it Asperger's, which I took to mean that I fit some of the criteria but not enough to have a diagnosis. It was then explained to me that she meant she couldn't call as Asperger's because that is no longer the name since autism is on a spectrum.
I've related this story to several family members and their general response is to say, yeah. So apparently I was the only one who did not know in the last 10 years that I was autistic. Too long did not read. Just learned I am autistic after being diagnosed 10 years ago because I misunderstood the doctor.
As an adult I had some suspicions. Talked to my GP. She said yeah, those all are enough for me to give you a referral for a psychiatrist to see about diagnoses.
Psych say yeah, that's type 1, and you're demonstrating a lot of traits people who get a late diagnosis do.
Mention it to my dad eventually and he's like, no shit, you were diagnosed as a kid. Apparently they just forgot to tell me.
You did not mess up at all. Although that is hilarious and on brand. On the doctors for being indirect with a newly diagnosed autistic person lol.
This is similar to how my ADHD diagnosis went.
I was tested when I was a kid but because nothing came of it, I thought it was negative. I pursued a diagnosis in my 30s and when I mentioned to my mom that I was surprised it was negative the first time, she said, no, it wasn't. You were just doing fine without any treatment. Lol, sounds kinda like me. One of my kids was being evaluated and the doc said they were autistic. I said I didn't understand because they're not the stereotypical kind. The doc then rattled off a list of behaviors and I said, what? Nah, that's normal stuff.
I did that all the time as a kid.
Oh, wait.
Not a food doctors and parents don't always explain at the time.
I hope your meds helped. Today I fucked up by playing marry, kill with some of my friends. Heads up, a lot of social awkwardness inbound. I definitely felt like I needed to crawl into a hole after this debacle. It happened last Friday night. We were together with a group of friends having a fire and just hanging out and talking.
A good portion of the main cast of my social circle were there, i.e., the people who feature in the other posts I have made about my train wreck of a life. Particularly, Barb, wife of my best friend, Carl, my best friend, and Garth, another friend, married to Sherry, were involved in this TIFU, although others were also present. Suddenly, seemingly out of nowhere after there was a pause in conversation, Barb says to me, marry, kill.
Me, Garth, and Carl. And I reflexively laugh and respond without hesitation. F you, kill Carl, marry Garth. And they all look at me like, what the FK?
As if they're all offended by my answer in some way.
Barb then says, well,
explain your reasons.
And I feel like a deer in headlights as everyone at the fire has their attention on me.
It's not like they're all mad, but just curious because I answered so quickly, as if I had already thought about this before. I have not. So I decide to put my foot in my mouth and start trying to explain myself.
I'm heterosexual, so obviously I'm feeing Barb.
That is what it is. And Barb rolls her eyes, as if she's disgusted by my boring sexual preferences, like I'm hopelessly conservative or something. Then I make things worse by adding, and I'd kill Carl, because after banging his wife, I'm sure he wouldn't even want to even look at me again.
And Carl's like, what?
That's not a good enough reason to kill someone. And at this point I'm feeling like a total monster. I probably should have zipped it at that point, but Garth was like, what about me?
And I was thinking, shit.
Because I knew the real reason why I wanted to marry Garth in this hypothetical, and I didn't really want to say it.
But TIFU, I said it. Well, I would marry Garth because it would put me in a poly relationship involving Sherry, and that can't be so bad. And Garth squinted at me strangely and Sherry laughed really hard, almost too hard,
at something that I didn't think was actually that funny.
I felt so embarrassed I wanted to jump in the fire. Too long did not read.
I was asked to marry, kill 3 of my friends, and my response offended all 3 of them and left me in an awkward spot.
I feel like this game is intended to be hypothetical with people you don't know, not people you know. Unless it's bait for a couple testing the waters for swinging or something. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. That goes for both them and you. I think your response saved it, to be honest. Some of that was pretty funny too. I wouldn't worry about it.
How is that offensive?
Of course you're going to bang the only girl. And killing her husband just makes sense.
That just leaves one option, and the other wife sounds fun. If you ask someone to name 3 names in that game and then get offended at their answer, you are a doofus. SMH bro, you gotta say, fuck Carl because look at that stud. Kill you because girls have cooties, and marry Garth because obviously, so then they know you're absolutely taking the piss and they don't think about it for more than 10 seconds.
TIFU, never to use wild jasmine dish soap. I'm sure you're all familiar with a company famous for their greasy baby duck commercials. And if you're not, it's a very popular dish soap brand, at least where I'm from, that washes baby ducks in their commercials.
A few months ago on my routine kitchen supplies restocking trip, I made the mistake of accidentally picking up the wild jasmine scent of this particular dish soap brand. It smelled okay, and it still cleaned my dishes, so I didn't really pay too much mind to the fact it smelled different.
Until last Saturday. I had bought a 40 ounces water bottle for my work, to support the brand I work for and because, frankly, I'm super bad at drinking water. I like my company, so I figured this water bottle would be a good incentive for me to remember to bring the bottle with me, and to drink from it.
Upon purchase, the water bottle smelled of a manufacturing armpit. The bottle also says it is hand wash only. So I squirt some dish soap in, filled the rest of the way with hot water, and left it to sit from Friday night to Saturday morning.
And that, friends, was a mistake. Upon its Saturday morning rinse, the bottle smelled fresh of wild jasmine and I was excited to use it. I filled it with water and set off to work. Upon my first drink, however, I realized the pungent smell of wild jasmine was still lingering. No matter, probably missed a spot in my morning rinse. So I rinsed it out in the bathroom and refilled with water from our purified water fountain. A bit of the smell remained in my following drink, and then the smell resurfaced altogether. I forfeit the drinking water thing for the day, ate my lunch with an unquenched thirst, and when I arrived home, promptly filled the bottle with hot and soapless water, and soaked the bottle and the lid, which I had submerged in a bowl of hot water, for over 24 hours. To no avail, the bottle and lid still smelled of wild jasmine dish soap. Begin my search to find something that would rid this scent from my bottle. Last night, I doused the bottle and the lid in a generous heap of baking soda, something I read was a natural deodorizer. I then filled a bowl with the lid and soda with hot water, and soaked. Same with the bottle. Soaked for 13 hours, this bottle and its lid still smell of wild jasmine dish soap. My next attempt will be with vinegar and salt. Too long did not read. Do not soak your brand new water bottles in wild jasmine dish soap. It will change the chemical profile of your plastic and stainless steel to be at least 25% wild jasmine. The smell will never part with you. Edit. Whoops, I wrote Thursday and not Friday. Any advice on how to rid my poor water bottle of this smell is appreciated, by the way. Try Effordent tablets for dentures. I use them to clean my water bottles all the time, since I have a habit of forgetting water or tea in them. Works great for stains and smells. Why do I keep seeing posts where people say they left stuff to soak in soapy water and then rinsed it out and consider that clean? There needs to be some kind of physical wiping or scrubbing happening? And don't come at me like, but dishwashers blah blah. They use water so hot it will burn you. It's killing everything and then rinsing it off. Your hot water tap is not that hot. If you can't ever get rid of the smell completely, and it prevents you from using the bottle regularly, slap some stickers on it or get creative with some paint and turn it into a makeshift flower vase. Yeah, I'm with a few of these other comments in that you should never have soaked it in the Dawn dish soap for that long. Plastic can absorb stuff. Clearly the problem here is the massively long initial soak time. You'd probably have been absolutely fine had you just washed it in warm water by hand.
rinsed it a couple of times to ensure all the soap was gone and then let it air dry and off gas for the weekend. The real issue here is letting it soak for what reads as an entire 36-ish hours. TF are you doing? Today I fucked up by not turning my car all the way on.
I was too embarrassed to post this when it actually happened on June 6th and I still feel really dumb, but maybe I'll save another idiot. I went out for my cigarette break at work and thought I turned my car on all the way. It was 110 degrees outside and I was trying to have a little AC going.
Yeah, I never turned over the engine and was running my car on accessory mode through my battery. Welp, after 15 minutes I went to turn my car off, but before I could it turned itself off. So I immediately tried to start it, but yeah, no. Dead battery. So now I have to call my fiancé to come out and jump my car in 110-degree Vegas heat, and the kind and gentle good soul he is was there within 30 minutes.
I then had to explain to management that I'm a moron and everyone was laughing at me.
Then I get home and remember I pay for triple A.
And never had to have my saint of a fiancé come out for that. Y'all, I am not telling him I still have triple A. Just gonna take that to my grave. Pro tip.
Don't be an idiot like me.
Too long did not read.
Thought my car was fully on, it was only in accessory mode and it died in the brutal Nevada heat.
Or you could have asked anyone at work to give you a jump. Someone always has jumper cables. AAA.
Just tell him, you know I called my insurance right up and made sure I added triple A.
I mean, it's only a few dollars, babe. Although maybe advice to tell a little white lie would be bad advice.
Your battery was already about to shit the bed if you only had the fan on for 15 minutes.
Not really a fuck up. Shitty timing for sure, but at least it didn't leave you stranded somewhere much worse.
Yeah, I don't buy this. Cars with AC won't run the AC on the accessory setting.
The engine has to be started. 110 degrees outside, sitting in a closed car for 15 minutes with OAC? Something doesn't add up. I live where it gets 110,115 degrees, windows up, 15 minutes? You'd be near heat stroke as the interior is gonna be 140,150 degrees easy.